Well, that history will continue next year. Magnus, speaking of history, I think this is a great segue to a few chat questions before we let you take your well-deserved rest. A question from Bobin TV. Which young player, Magnus, do you see becoming as good as your Hikaru in the SEC in the future? Keeping in mind the blitz time controls and keeping in mind all of the young talents who are terrorizing the classical field these days.
The answer is pretty obvious that it's Alireza Firouzja. He has clearly the highest potential. To be honest, I thought at this point that he would be, if not quite at the same level, then very, very close. And actually, when you mentioned these young players and I mentioned Alireza, my feelings like today remind me a little bit of 2020 when I lost the Banter Blitz Cup final to Alireza, also in a very even match. I did play him like a few weeks later in the Magnus Invitational in Rapid, and I won a very, very close match there, and that didn't satisfy me at all. I had some of the same feelings still, that the only thing that would sort of count as revenge for me was a decisive victory, and I couldn't get that. But no, I think Alireza clearly has the highest potential. Nihal is very strong. I'm sure he can improve as well. As for the other kids, would be interesting to see in a couple of years if Prague could be a contender in this format. Abdusatorov as well. Who knows? But for the moment, Alireza is a little bit away, and the others are far away.
Well, continuing with the chat questions, Magnus, and bringing us back to the match a little bit, I admit I wanted to know the answer to this as well, but we have a chat question from Robert Balaji who says, Magnus, was it the change of shirts that brought you back in the game? Because, you know, whether or not it was intentional, you changed your shirt, you came in and won a bunch of games in a row and got right back in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it helped that it cooled me down a little bit, just wearing something lighter, as I spoke about earlier. And I guess I made +4 with this shirt and -3 with the other. So the result sort of speaks for itself.
Well, Magnus, final question before we let you go. Any overall reflections from this year's SCC, and how much are you looking forward to next year's edition? Can we sign you up preemptively?
Yeah, I can just repeat what I said earlier, that I'm happy to win. It's better to win than to lose, but I'm not satisfied. So I'm gonna be back and hoping to establish the dominance that I think I can.